Hey, thanks for joining us again. Hope you're having a great weekend and enjoying the show so far. Obviously, some great acts still to come. I'm joined now by Managing Director Dave Grayson of Halifax Rugby League. Welcome, Dave.
Good afternoon. Are you well?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. What's not to like? All these stars and past players and celebs, and hopefully, raising a bit of cash for junior clubs and the club as well. So, how are you doing? More importantly.
Yeah, fine, thank you. I've been really busy, to be honest with you. Since obviously the lockdown, the club has gone into lockdown as well, and everybody's furloughed except for the media team. And obviously, I'm doing my bit, but that brings its own challenges. But we'd got quite a lot of preparation in place before all this happened. So we're just working our way through that plan, and things are going pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, it's got to be a tough situation. I guess the uncertainty around what's happening because it's not anything any of us can control.
You can only plan to a certain extent, of course, and without going into too much detail, there's probably about 6 or 7 different cash flow versions for the club that have been created at the moment, and who knows which one's going to come to fruition. So lots of work going on with the RFL, and they're in the same conundrum. So it's a tough time, but I'm sure we'll get through it.
Good. And I want to say thank you for the support for the event, even though this is a fundraiser that Halifax are involved in. It's also supporting junior clubs, whatever sport in Halifax. And I know you were really the first to kind of jump in and say, yeah, we want to get behind this. We want a strong Halifax, we want a strong junior setup of cricket, of football, of rugby, both codes. So thanks. What was it about the fundraiser that you thought, yeah, we should get behind this?
I think it's a concept, really. It's not just specifically for Halifax Rugby League, and I think whilst that's important, and certainly in the role that I've got, very important, it's very much important for the youth as well. And obviously, believe it or not, I was a young lad back in the day, and part of my education and upbringing and values was created from playing sport and being involved in sport, and also coaching. So I've seen both sides of that, and it is vital for a person's development. And at the moment, it's difficult for the junior clubs out there. Obviously, they can't do anything, they can't raise any funds, and children can't play. So we need to get obviously something in place so that when we do come out of it, they're ready to go, and obviously got some funding to do that. So very important.
Yeah. And obviously, people now know you as Rugby League, but of course, you've been heavily involved in the other code within Halifax.
I've got to be careful how I say that to in rugby league and rugby union circles, because it tends to have a different reaction, but that is the case. So historically for me, I'm a local Halifax lad, actually, a Boothtown lad, and went to Heath Grammar and then joined Heath Old Boys as was then, associated with the club, since then. So that's, I'd say, 30 odd years now. I did go through the sort of playing structure down there, coaching structure, committee structure, administration structure, and for a short while, chairman as well. So learnt a lot during that time from how to run a sports club, and the club itself has gone on to bigger and better things since I left, which is great to see. Done a bit of coaching as well for a team outside of Halifax, but again, they were very grateful for that, and great set of lads, and that team spirit that I mentioned earlier is vital. So done that. Also coached at football as well when my son was a nipper. Did coaching for North Ireland. So I've sort of touched a lot of areas in terms of sport. And like I said earlier, it's very important. But at the moment, key one for me is Halifax Rugby League, of course. And, I watched my first game in 1967 as a young lad. And I've been going ever since. So I've just obviously worked my way through, being a fan. Joined the Supporters Trust Board a while back. Did quite a lot of work with the Halifax Rugby League Foundation. I was asked to go on there by Mark Moore when he was chairman at the time. Did 2 years. I've worked on the board side, which I feel very privileged to do that. And it's vital that 147 years history continues, and certainly on my shift, definitely.
I was looking this week, I think was the anniversary of the record crowd. I think 102,000, some say 104,500 at Halifax playing at Odsal. what turnout that would be if we could attract 100,000 people into a stadium in Halifax in the future.
Well, it'd be fantastic, but I think we're a long way off that at the moment. But we can but dream.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, that crowd in 1954, the unofficial attendance was probably more like 110, 120,000, I believe. So you would have just been in a fantastic experience, a lifetime experience. And I'd love to have that down at this year.
Good, good. And back to rugby league, I know it's uncertain. You know, what are your hopes for the rest of the season? I know you don't have any specific answers to give or any crystal ball. What would you like to see happen, or a message to the fans about how we're, approaching the end of this season?
Well,
say end of this season. Sorry,
yeah.
Interrupt. I'm saying end of the season. We've only just started. Yeah.
I think the number one priority for me, to be honest with you, is around people understanding that the absolute priority is people's welfare, both fans and players. We all want to get the guys back playing. They want to get back playing. They're chomping at the bit, as I'm sure other clubs' players has. But the number one priority as custodians for our club and the Rugby Football League have for the game is to make sure that that's done in a safe environment. The message to the fans is, A, thank you for your support at the moment that you're doing with us. We really appreciate that. And B, going forward is stick with us. Obviously, once we get to where we need to get to, I'm sure we can't all wait for the first game of the season again, effectively, and watching the blue and white coming out on the field and getting behind the guys and hopefully picking up where we left off.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend, and thanks for taking time out to join us and give that message. And hopefully you'll be able to stick around and watch a couple of the acts that we've got coming up. So thank you. Remember, if you want to find out more information about what's happening at the club, Halifax Rugby League's website is the place to go. I think they're also going to be having this season, whilst we're still in lockdown, some virtual pints and pies and things that may or may not be live right now, but it's worth going to check out in their shop. But thanks. Let's hand you over to the next team.